what are some of the common things that homeowners do wrong when they're planting plants?
Well, one of the main things people do wrong is they only amend the soil right around the plant. If you do that, your plant only has a very small area where it can grow. So you want to amend the entire area, till up that whole bed, put in some peat moss and some potting soil to give all of your plants a good start.
I see. Okay, now when you're selecting plants, sometimes you have roots coming out of the bottom of them, sometimes you don't. Is that a sign of good plant or bad plant?
Well, it doesn't really matter, but if they are root bound with roots growing out of the bottom, they're under stress. So you want to plant them carefully, loosen those roots just a little bit, or take a sharp knife and slice them to be sure that they can grow out.
Well, now, what about packing these things in? I was by a job the other day and I saw guys out there just packing these plants down. I thought you wanted them to be kind of loose.
Well, you want them to settle in nice and firm, just like the surrounding soil. Another mistake that a lot of people make is planting things too deep or too shallow.
I didn't know. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's very important. Usually you want them to be at the same depth that they were in the pot that came from the store. So when you dig your hole, you want to firm up that soil around it so it will settle down and keep them at a nice right level.
Okay, now, and watering, I mean, you got to water them a lot when you first plant, right?
You do, especially for about the first month or so to make sure they get established. But they're still, especially flowering plants, are going to need a little extra water. So you might want to put in a drip irrigation system, a soaker hose, some way to get water right to the roots of the plants without spraying everywhere and evaporating all.
Yeah, the soaker hose, I always heard that's probably the best way to go. And I saw one the other day that a homeowner had a little timer hooked up to an outside hose faucet. I thought that was just perfect idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. You can water without even having to remember.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Now, mulch. I mean, mulch, this is pine straw we'll be putting back over this after we plant these few plants, but there's a lot of different kinds of mulch. Any mulch better than others, and what's the real reason for the mulch other than it looks nice?
Well, mulch holds in moisture and keeps the temperature steady. It really doesn't matter what kind you use. You can use what works or looks prettiest in your yard.